Hello everybody. Hey, it's been a little tough here. The Pompano are a struggle this year. Lots of winds, lots of weeds. Haven't been able to get out there much. But one of the big things is I've been invited to go fish in Panama City this weekend. It's going to be bad storms. We're hoping to still be able to fish. But all of the research that you need to do, I'm going to cover in this episode. Hit subscribe below. All right, so we're going to start with just the regular things that you need to know when you walk onto the beach. One of the big things is, what rig am I going to use? Am I going to use fresh bait, artificial bait? Am I going to need to use fluorocarbon if the water's too clear? Or over here in Jacksonville when it's not really clear, can I get away with just using a mono? The next thing, what sinker do I use? Do I use a Sputnik? Do I use a Storm? Do I use a Pyramid? What rig? Do I use the fishing mortician rig, the double dropper rig, the Carolina rig, the fish finder rig, a float rig when I'm going to a new place? One of the big things is there's a lot of things you got to think about while going fishing, especially in a new area. One of the big things is I was able to watch a bunch of the YouTube videos from over across in the Destin area from this last year, kind of looking at the tides, looking at all the different things. It's a big struggle if you don't know. So it's always nice to talk to some people. I was able to talk with Tony over at Fish Gum. He gave me some good information. You know, the big one is it's a lot clearer than over here in Jacksonville. So sometimes we can get away with using a little bit heavier line. Over there, sounds like we're going to have to use some fluorocarbon, and that's going to be okay. I have some good fluorocarbon. I've talked about it. I know that I introduced the fishing mortician rig to the YouTube, and it is a hit. I'll just tell you, one of the big things is a lot of people have been using that and been able to catch fish over there on the Gulf side. So I know people have seen that. Some people have been trying to teach that rig incorrectly. Watch my video so you know how to do it. The one big thing is because I love fishing a fishing mortician rig, I'm going to use this. It's polymer fishing line. I get it at on Amazon. I'm going to be fishing a 30-pound, I know, a 30-pound main leader and a 25-pound snoods. And then the next one is I'll be fishing that with crab knuckles. Also, what else is over there that I don't have here? Ghost shrimp. Is that different than regular shrimp? I don't know. But guess what? I'll bring shrimp from here. Maybe it's maybe I get some pink ones. Maybe I get some fresh dead from over here. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't. I'll pick up some fresh bait when I'm over there too. So the arsenal of what I'm going to be fishing with, I know, is I'm going to be fishing with crab knuckles because I know Pompano love crab knuckles. I'm going to be fishing with clams because I know Pompano love clams. Whiting love clams. The next one, they love sand flea. I don't know if I can catch sand fleas on that beach, but guess what? I'm gonna have some when I leave here in Jacksonville. They might be a little different. I'm not for sure, but that's the big thing, is take everything to the beach. So I'll be using a float rig potentially on a short rod. I know that watching that, you don't have to have the big long casting rods. I will be over that second bar looking for those big pompano. I can tell you that. I don't know if it'll work, but guess what? That's where I'll be. I'll be putting a float rig in that inside, on the inside of the bar in those big holes, seeing if I can catch one of those big pompano or those big whiting. I know I'm going to use the fishing mortician rig. I know I can use floats on my fishing mortician rig, but I also can use a double dropper. So what floats work in Panama City? It's a lot clearer. I know there's some other companies that produce a lot of different rigs, and I know they're sponsors, but I have a bunch of different floats here. Obviously, I run the online store, the Sinker Guy online, so I have about everything that you could really need for this area. Maybe it's something different from over there. So I have some extra stuff that I like. One of the big ones, I love fishing the black bead and the red bead. So I won't always use floats, I'll use beads too. And if you've watched my channel, I will pull out the double purple Pompano Killer. Goes great with clams, it matches the hatch. We will be fishing that on a double dropper. I promise you that, with live clam, and it will be hot. I just have this feeling. The other one is we're going to fish a Carolina rig or probably a fish finder rig, but set up the exact same, except here's just a, we have these, they'll go online here, but this is for particularly for redfish or larger species. But you can also do this, you just put this swivel on your main line, whoop, put that bead on, and I'm going to tie on right there, boom. And this is going to be, if I want to fish some mullet, or if I want to fish, smaller, I don't have to have this heavy of line, obviously. But the other big thing with that is with a smaller hook, what hook am I going to use if I'm using this? Because obviously I know this is going to, the Carolina rig, it's going to slide up and down. Also, is this fish finder rig, you're going to slide up and down. So what hook do I believe works if you're fishing a live shrimp in that first trough? I will tell you, I think it's a wide bend. I like the number 6 and the number 4 wide bend for that. You can find those a lot of different places. Hard to find online. We will have them on the online store here soon. We just don't have them up yet. But when I'm fishing that, if I have a live shrimp, which we will be fishing live shrimp, I'll be putting those on a fish finder rig with a pyramid sinker, number 2 pyramid sinker, so it holds the bottom, and when that fish hits that live shrimp and it eats it, and the wide bend hook actually just turns right into the mouth, and when they turn and go, guess what? They're hooked. Unlike a circle hook, and I'll tell you why I like the wide bend a little bit better, is the circle hook's great if there's tension upon the line, because then it'll just hook the fish. If you're just fishing, that's why I would fish a Sputnik versus one of the other pyramid or a storm. The storm sinker is a good sinker. It'll hold, but it'll roll down the beach. And then sometimes you have slack in your line, and then the fish never gets hooked up. It eats your bait, but never gets hooked up. I'd like to have my fish, if it's biting my stuff that I put out there, I want to get it hooked. So I have a little tension. I'll use the Sputnik sinker versus the storm or a pyramid. I would use the Sputnik sinker made by the sinker guy, because when we're doing a lot of pompano fishing, I watched videos yesterday, and everybody lost a pompano on the beach. They had the fish, it ate their bait, they presented it well, and they lost the fish. Are you kidding me? And most of the time when that happens is the pyramid sinker digs into the sand right by the edge, and then the line becomes loose, and boom, the pompano has a little bit of wiggle room. He's on the beach flapping, and boom, gone. There are people chasing him into the water, banging their knees, trying to catch that fish. Boom, we're in trouble. So one of the big things, I use the Sputnik sinker for 2 reasons. When you use the Sinker Guy Sputnik sinker, it releases. Number 1, it releases. See that? If yours doesn't release and swing like that, send it back to the person or one of my competitors, because this is how they're supposed to be made. So they're going to go in there, snap in, they should snap out, and when you're bringing that pompano in, you want that thing to boom, 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 and now that's sliding right up the beach. It's going to keep tension, and you're not going to lose it. Very, 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 very simple. That's why I choose the Sputnik sinker. I expect that you probably will too, if you've ever lost a pompano in the surf like that. It was amazing to see how many people had lost their pompano, their big pompano, on the beach. So after doing everything else right, you can't land a fish. That is almost devastating. Sorry, I got sidetracked on a silly little thing like a sinker. Sinkers make a difference on how well you can get hooked up. So once again, check us out, www.thesinkerguy.com. You'll understand after you buy them and use them. So am I using that sinker with all my rigs? Yes, I am. Even the fish finder rig, I won't use it with the Carolina, because Carolina is with an egg sinker. But I will use that 95% of the time when I'm fishing, just because I like the hook up rate, it becomes higher. So a lot of people use different things. I'm just telling you, I like it because of the hookup. Caught a lot of pompano, lots of whiting, lots of fish in the last year to kind of demonstrate that. So the next part, what are we going to fish with? We know that there's ghost shrimp and sand fleas on that beach. Well, guess what? We always fish with what's on the beach. I'm not taking squid. I'm not taking squid to the beach. I don't even know if there's squid over there, but I'm not taking squid in the beach. I know that if I'm going to cast short, there's going to be pompano trying to look for clams and shrimp and sand fleas. So that's what we're going to be fishing with, and that's one of the big things. Now the real question is, do I use fresh bait, frozen bait, fresh dead, or artificial bait? Well, I know that there's a lot of products out there. I'm going to use fresh bait, number one. I'm going to also use a synthetic bait to help me just in case something, little fish picks me off, something like that. So when I'm going to the beach, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to take, well, Bama Beach Bum, baby. Look at that. Fish Bites sponsors Bama Beach Bum. You can get these out the Fish Bites store or on Bama Beach Bum's website. But if they made it for him, it probably works over there. So guess what? I'm going to take this with me. That's pretty simple. It's a clam flavor. White clam works great over here. So I'm going to take white clam because I believe in white clam. Yellow clam, if it's a little dirty, I'm going to have it. I know that that does not look like any other clam that is on the beach, but guess what? I match that up with my purple beads. I'm going to have some luck. Sand flea. If I can't find sand fleas, I got to have sand flea fish bites. That we've limited out just on sand flea fish bites many times. So, and then I'm going to take shrimp synthetic. These are fish bites. You guys know what they are if you've been a surf fisherman. They work. But I always take everything that I can take to the beach that I'm going to need. If it's fresh crabs, fresh clams, fresh shrimp, everything fresh is best. But if you don't have all that stuff and the waves just knocking all that stuff off, you need to have something to be able to hold on. And that's the big part here. So I will have all those when I'm going over. And then the next question is fluoro versus mono. Is it clear? It's clear. It's a lot more clear over there than it is here. So we're gonna have to use a little lighter leader, I would imagine. Now there's gonna be a storm, the potential hurricane coming in this weekend. So it might not matter, but it might. So always have yourself set up that you can be successful when you go to the beach. So on the next episode. So we're gonna film all of our little escapades over there. We're gonna get down to the nitty gritty and figure out what works, what doesn't work in Panama City, Destin area. And we're going to be asking other fishermen to figure out the best way that we can go, that we can fish over there. And this is not, I know it all, because that's not, every beach is a little different. Even every beach here in Jacksonville fishes different. So you just got to be ready to make an adaptation to the change that you need to make to catch some fish. So that's the best thing about being a fisherman. You have to learn how to become a better fisherman in all situations. So it's not just surf fishing. It's all, if you're fishing in a boat, if you're fishing from the shore, you just have to learn those things. So hit subscribe. I appreciate you guys watching. Let's see how I do on the channel next week when I publish that video that we're fishing at down there, the real Pompano Blitz. So hopefully we can win it. That's the goal. We're not going over there to drive 5 hours just to kind of watch other people fish. So the big thing is take everything to the beach that you know you need. Don't leave anything up to chance. Good luck, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.